Hello and welcome to the Social Recruiting Show. I'm Katrina Collier. I speak, train and write about the use of social media for recruitment. Of course, I'm joined by the ever fabulous Audra Knight, just back from holidays with a tan, showing off, who is a employer branding nerd, recruitment marketing specialist, whatever I feel like calling you this week. And of course, today's special guest is Cameron McLennan, who is a predictive recruitment specialist. You need to explain that to me. Yeah. What does that mean?
Well,
from Fire Software, who I adore.
Yeah,
Hello.
so thanks very much for having me, guys. I have a pretty wacky job title, so called Predictive Recruitment Specialist at Firefish Software. I help recruitment agencies figure out what the right solution is for them to drive their business forward. So we work with progressive, niche, bespoke recruitment agencies that are looking to do things differently to the norm in the market. Yeah. So we provide CRM, ATS systems to the market, but we do some other cool things in there as well. So and when I joined the business a year and a half ago, we had 8 employees and we're now up to 22, and we are successfully scaling the business off of social selling. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping to talk about today.
What areas do you service? Sorry.
Yeah, so we service the agency, mainly the agency market. 90% of our clients will be recruitment agencies. We do have some corporate clients as well. Some in-house teams use us, but the in-house teams that use us tend to be made up of ex-agency recruiters that have moved into in-house roles. We focus on the professional services market and also the day rate contract market as well. We don't do any high volume labor stuff. It's all permanent and day rate contracts. We focus on. Yeah.
Is that being a little short-sighted with the gig economy?
Well, I suppose you
don't tell Wendy I said that. Obviously.
No, I mean I suppose that the whole flexible working thing is something that people want, and we're moving into a time now where the gig economy is getting really, really popular. But I think our sort of bag for us, what we're going after is perhaps people who are doing gigs on half days or full days, rather than looking for short chunks of hours. You know, it's more geared towards that.
Yeah. That's fair.
So yeah.
Now you guys global or more UK?
So yeah, we've got clients in 20 different countries now. So we're expanding all the time, moving into different markets. Recently brought on someone in New Zealand. We've got people in Dubai, sort of, all over the place. We're starting to get, but our content is starting to drive more people to us from all over the world, which is great for us because we're cloud-based systems. So.
Audrey, are you losing Cameron as well?
No, he works.
Yeah.
No, I'm fine. He's fine.
Oh, can you see him? I've lost him on poor internet signal.
Nope, I can see him.
Cameron?
Yeah, I can see you guys. I can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got audio only. How interesting. Maybe it's my end.
Yeah, it might be.
Who knows?
Weird.
Have you come into the US at all or not yet? Or is that the plan?
Not yet. We don't have any clients in the US just now. We've been speaking to a few businesses over there at the moment, a couple of folk in New York and the like, but we don't have any existing clients there. However, definitely a plan for us to move over there and continue to scale. Also quite keen to look at New Zealand and Australia as well. There seems to be quite a big... People in New Zealand, we found anyway, chatting with people in New Zealand, and we've got some clients over there, they're quite forward thinking when it comes to tech. They don't, some people have a perception of them as being quite antiquated in terms of how day-to-day life, right? But we're fighting.
Them, don't forget I am one of them.
I know. I've got family there, so I've got relatives that live there. So, but no, when it comes to tech, they're really moving forward, and you're getting more and more niche, bespoke startup recruitment agencies coming into the market over there, and they're the type of people we want to be aligning ourselves with and working with. So it's so
when was it? July last year. So I spoke in Auckland and I spoke in Sydney, and I would say the Kiwis are definitely winning. I think there's only 4 million of them, but they are, wow. They really are very forward thinking and very open, and they're collaborative, and it's lovely watching what they're doing. They could teach the Sydney side of a few things.
I think it's really cool and really exciting because certainly in the European market, when it comes to recruitment agencies, sometimes if someone's onto a good thing or what they think is a good thing, it's very secretive. No one shares what they're doing. No one wants to be collaborative. It's like, so we're doing it this way. It's making us money. We're not sharing it with anyone. Whereas over there, like people meet up, they talk, they share what they're doing to try and better the industry as a whole. And I think like we are, that's great for us. We want to align ourselves with people who work that way and think about adopting, business in a social way, and for the, to make it better for everyone is what we aim to do. So it's good.
I noticed that quite a lot last week. So Audrey, we were at what was it called? Recruitment tech event.
Yeah, UK Recruiter. Yeah,
I
great.
Absolutely know where I was, but anyway, the agency said they just don't do that collaborative piece. And I keep telling them, you have no clue how much the in-house lot are so sharing ideas and being very collaborative. And they're like, oh, no, they're not. And I'm going, they really are.
Yeah, definitely. And like one of my colleagues here, like he's in charge of like a partnership program at Firefish. So we are speaking to other providers in the market and talking to them about what they're doing. And it's kind of like it's very informal, but it's like, so if we speak to someone that has a requirement for what you do and we think you'd be great at it, then we'll do that introduction. And we're having these conversations with people who are like, why are you phoning me? Why are you asking me this? Why do you want this sort of relationship? But it works both ways, and it's nice, and it doesn't happen enough in the industry in the UK, I don't think. And, we'd all gotten a lot better if we started to do that, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. So tell us more about social selling. Actually define social selling.
God, define. That's a great question. Going to put me on the spot. I think
you're the one that suggested the topic.
Yeah, I did. I think for me, social selling is about giving you as an individual a voice behind your brand and adding value to people at every step of the way.
Sorry, can you say that again, because I lost you?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a great believer in like social selling is giving you a brand and your company a brand and a voice, and being out there in the market where you're always helping people. Traditionally, sales has always like there's this old mantra like always be closing. That whole mindset is dead as far as I'm concerned. It should always be helping now. You're trying to inform and guide people and let them have real good quality business decisions about what's right for them. And to do that, you need to be out there in the market. You need to be writing content, adding value, getting involved in social discussions with people. And I don't think it happens enough. So for us, it's all about, getting involved in discussions and helping people rather than trying to close deals all the time.
Do you think then that there needs to be a change with the managers in the agencies? Because they still want that quick win. You've just started. You've got to be billing in 2 months. Gun to the head. Get on the phone. Call. Yeah, that kind of rubbish.
I definitely do. And I think that the issue, that's where some of the issue lies. So you're getting more and more recruiters coming through who want to be using social media. They want to be involved in that. They want to be getting involved in discussions online with people, but they've got a manager or a director breathing down their neck saying to them, you need to make 80 calls today. You need to make 60 calls today. I'd much rather if I was managing a team that they made 10 warm, useful conversations in a day than just making 80 phone calls for the sake of making them. So I think the thing is, recruitment is already social, okay? But the selling bit of it is not there in terms of social selling. So if you're running a recruitment team just now and you've got 20 recruiters that work for you, get up out of your seat, walk around the office. Someone in your team will be on social media. They might not be investing the time in social for your business, but you can bet their bottom dollar that they're on social. So you might as well have them on social media adding value to you and your business rather than on Facebook speaking to their mates or on Twitter on their own private accounts. So they might as well be getting involved in conversation.
I so agree with that. If I was to go back into that side, I would, sorry, my phone's just started ringing. Worst thing is it rings on the Mac. It's like, stop it. I would go, oh God, I hope you can't hear that. I'm so sorry. If I was to do it, go away. Right. I would go back as an absolute niche. So I would, for me, it'd be technology, so Hadoop or something like that. But I would do it from the social side. I'd become the go-to person in the market. But that would also give me access to all the people that aren't on social media.
Yeah.
That's beyond that reach. But I just don't see the managers ever giving people time to do that. So do you ever coach the managers, or have you got any examples where they've actually stepped back and gone, you know what, we're changing the way we're doing it here and it's working?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like we Yeah, I mean, we kind of use ourselves as an example of that. I mean, we've scaled the business to where we've got to just now based on a successful blog, as an example.
Yes.
And being visible and being social. And the way that we try and position this across to recruitment agency owners is that if you can get your consultants to have 1 or 2 more warm conversations a week as a result of having a presence on social media, the impact that can have across your business is massive. So if they're visible on social, they're adding value to discussions, and it gets them into a couple of more, warm discussions, then the impact of that's massive. I actually I put a couple of notes down there about earlier on about coming up with a new KPI for the recruitment industry. So if your recruiters can get into 5 offline conversations as a result of what they're doing on social media a week, and that could be with candidates or clients, and then if these 5 new conversations, that would add up to 20 new conversations a month, right?
Yeah.
That's 240 possible new opportunities to speak to someone a year. Now, let's just be really pessimistic and say that those 240, they only convert 5% of that into actual revenue for the business.
Yeah.
That's still 12 placements a year for your business. Yeah. The average placement fee is $3,000. That's an extra 36,000 onto a recruiter's line. So it's about, I think if people are going to implement a social selling strategy into their business, then it needs to be baby steps. It needs to be little bits here and there. It can't just be, we're going all out social media. Don't speak to anyone on the phone. Just get on Twitter, get on Facebook, get on LinkedIn. That's not it. You still need to speak to people on the phone. Yes. Build those relationships, and ultimately people buy from people. As cliche as that is, you build those relationships, and people want that. But social is a great tool to allow you to do that.
I think for the keeping in touch point of view as well.
That's it, yeah.
I just interrupted you. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to mention we have a great question that I think relates to that from Sarah. How much time do you think recruiters should spend on social versus calling, interviewing, matching, etc.?
I think that's a great question. It doesn't really need to take up any more than half an hour of your time a day, 40 minutes of your time a day if you're doing things well. Audrey, you've got a guest. That's brilliant. This Blabcat's in, yeah. Awesome.
Blabdog just left the room, thank God.
I don't think it should take any more than 30 or 40 minutes of your day. You can use certain monitoring tools to keep an eye on the streams that you're part of, set up lists, dip in and out of them when you've got some downtime. What I would say is, if you're making calls, you've made your calls for the day, you've done your interviews, you've done your matching, in the downtime, what used to happen and what still does happen in a lot of places is it's like, I'm going to make 40 calls to cold people. All right. That to me doesn't make sense. If you think about your social media stream, a social media stream is the most engaged stream that any recruiter has access to. Lots of recruitment agencies will have 15,000 candidates on their database. They haven't spoken to, they've only spoken to 10% of them inside the past 3 years. And their Twitter feed, what's happening on LinkedIn, that's all live data and engaged data that you can be jumping on, getting involved in conversations in there. It is a bit of a long game as well. It's not something that if you just do tomorrow, you'll start getting results from instantly. You do need to spend a bit of time, but there's nothing nicer than when someone phones you or calls you and they know who you are, they know what you're about, they've been following what you're doing online. It's a warm conversation. You're not having to break down any barriers. There's no icebreakers there. The people feel like they know you as a result of that.
Yeah. Oh, Matt's question.
Should I jump in? Getting those warm contacts requires being respected and accepted by the community you're involved in. What are some things you can do to earn that acceptance? Great question.
Yeah, that's a great question, Matt. And I think you need to get involved in conversations. When you start to get involved in conversations about important things, you can start to build credibility. If you can add value to chats online, if a candidate that you're looking at tweets out something and you can get involved in the chat, or even if a client has a business challenge that they're voicing online, if you can get involved in that chat, then it gets you in front of those people as someone who's respected and credible. And that's really why it is a bit of a long game as well. Recruitment is so much about immediate gratification. It's like now we want to speak to someone now who's interested in this. But it's a bit more of a long game. Content can help as well. But
it's what you do with that content as well. So I had an interesting, I would call it an altercation on Twitter yesterday, actually, because this woman was actually quite foul-mouthed. Ended up blocking her. But it was she wasn't herself. So it wasn't like, okay, oh, here's Audra and here's her face and here's a bio and I know who I'm chatting with. It was hiding behind a logo again, which we know I hate. Yeah. But what she'd done was I'd shared a photo of a flower of all things. She'd then, so what I call @handles, so @Winning Press, and started writing at me, oh, you'll be really interested in this blog post. Will I? It's not for her to say. It's more, you've got to do the following thing. So it's you've got to build up your followers the right way, like you're saying, answering questions, offering advice, but not forcing content onto someone. And all I was saying to her was, would you do that in person? Would you walk up with a printout of that article and hand it to Audra and say, read this? You wouldn't. Yeah. So, like, why are you doing that online? Yeah. She couldn't get the point. It's like, block.
And I think a lot of people miss the social and the social media bit, don't they? It's just like, I'm just going to force stuff on you and hope for the best. But it's about get involved in discussions and get your name out there, get yourself out there. And if again, like a lot of people will talk a lot about content as being a good tool for that. Content is a great tool to do that. But what's also really, really good content as well is that a good tool, is if you see a challenge or get involved in a conversation, you don't need to stick something about your own content into that chat. If there's something someone else has put out there that's really relevant to overcoming that challenge, share that. You're still being seen as knowledgeable and credible. You don't just have to share your own stuff all the time. And in actual fact, I actually think that adds to your credibility when you don't mind about driving someone off to a different site or a different blog because you're still showing them you care and you're adding value to what they're talking about.
You're answering the question. I love what Matt's written as well. Make someone laugh and they'll let you in. That's true as well. Assuming it's a relevant laugh, I suppose.
Yeah. I think as well, like I think the days of the social suit are finished as well. Our industry is quite, can some instances be quite stuffy. It's all, 3-piece suits, ties and cufflinks and everything, which is fine because you're having professional conversations. Yeah. But on social media, you need to analyze that a little bit and show a little bit of your personality. Let yourself come through a bit. Be normal. People like to see normal and like to get to know you as an individual as well.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that, and also because I had a question in from Jen Davis about her slides, because when I spoke at SRSC in January, whenever it was, all these slides had all these really personal details about people, and I wasn't used to that. I'm used to, okay, so here's me as a professional, and I probably tweet about dogs occasionally. Not, and I've got 3 kids and they're doing this, blah, blah, and it was this full-blown, well, okay, this is a presentation, this is strange. So I found that, so culturally, what Jeremy's question is here about, does it differ around the globe? Yes, it does, actually. But at the same time, I still agree we need to let our hair down because the dogs have won me business because people engage with me over them, not my social recruiting articles. That leads them to those, sure. But it's me showing that I'm human, like Blabcat.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, one of the values that we have at Firefish is like, don't take yourself too seriously. And what we don't mean by that is that
my win thing, so it's not any wonder. She's
exactly.
Queen of that.
Yeah, and when we say that, like, we don't mean that we don't take our job seriously, but we don't feel that if we don't need to pitch up to a meeting necessarily in a shirt and a tie to be taken seriously, and we still take our job really, really seriously as well. But it's just about letting a little bit of your personality come through, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think we're quite lucky we don't have to be corporate.
I have a lot of vendors reach out to me for sales, and generally it's always the same. They'll send me an email, and then a week later, I won't answer. They'll send me another, and they'll send me another, and they'll send me like the 4th one, and then that's it. But it's taking them a whole month, well, unless it's automated. And if they actually reached out and like tweeted me or just anything different, I would probably consider replying. But it's just, I'm so sick of the same old emails saying, check this out,
Yeah.
Why don't they ring you?
They never do. I actually don't think I would like that. I don't know.
Really?
No. Oh. Well, it's my personal cell phone, I think. How does that work, maybe?
I mean, a couple of little things that I'll do is I'll follow someone who on Twitter, like for example, who I'm interested in connecting with. They then get a notification to see that I followed them.
Yep.
Day later, I'll then favorite one of their tweets. They get another notification to see that I've favorite something on their profile. And I'll scan through the content that they're sharing, have a look to see what they're all about, retweet it, put a little quote in. That gets me on their radar again. Then what I'll do is I'll check them out on LinkedIn if they've put anything on Pulse or anything like that, anything that I think's really, really interesting. comment on that, get involved in a chat with them there. And then after sort of like 4 or 5 social touch points like that, psychologically, people kind of feel that you've earned the right to ask them for an offline conversation.
Mm.
So once you've had 4 or 5 social touch points like that, got involved in a chat, and then we try and move that chat offline, people are a bit more receptive to that because they feel, you feel like you've earned the right to ask for that after that, rather than just necessarily going right through the phone or dropping them an email and having an ask straight away. I think a lot of people make they have the ask at the start when really the ask should be at the end once you've sort of built that social relationship up.
Yeah.
You're doing the thing that you do in a pub, aren't you? You're going out and going, oh, hey, Cameron, can I buy you a drink? Oh, how's the weather? Obviously, Britain, we wouldn't do that in the US. And, you'd have a whole conversation for an hour before you probably even got to the point of going, oh, what do you do for a living? And got chatting. But for some reason online, we seem to forget that. Yeah,
exactly. People go too quickly for the ask. And I think as well, people to go too quick into like a copy and paste email. They have like a template email. This is what I'm going to use to approach everybody. It doesn't work. Like the more granular, the more focused you can be in your approach, and the more you dial that first communication in to be really, really relevant to them, then we get a way, way higher conversion rate into an actual offline conversation with that. So, yeah.
I just sidetrack for a second. Josh has just pointed out something really cool, Josh Jones, from last week. So he's got a custom search engine that searches company name and it pulls in any Pulse articles that mention the company. And he's even shared the link for you so you can be lazy going forward. That is so cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Nice.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna copy that link while we're chatting.
I'm a bit anti-Pulse articles though, because mine never it always says it never shares it to my network of 4,000 followers.
It still doesn't?
Like, I don't know.
I thought it got fixed.
Oh, really?
They don't like her.
They added me as an influencer because they clearly don't read my actual blog. And then, seriously, because people go, why do I have to follow you? I can't connect with you. So I've got all these followers who don't see anything because it doesn't notify them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Microsoft will sort it out.
We'll see.
Who knows? So when you talk to recruiters, do you offer them that same kind of guidance with the multiple touch points? And how do they react if you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's different. Different. Some people will say, "Oh, well, we don't have the time for it. We don't have the resource to set aside, and approach people in that manner." And we just try and bring it back on point to the fact that, look, if you can get more warm conversations going with people, you will bill more money. It's factual. It's
logical.
It's just getting that early adoption. What we're finding is we're dealing now with more and more agency owners who are mid-20s. They've been in an industry for 3-4 years working for someone else. They're leaving and starting up, and they're totally on point with it.
Wow.
And they're the ones that we're noticing that are absolutely smashing it out the park. The other ones that are slow to change and evolve like this, they're the ones that are going to get left behind. Because we actually we notice that ourselves here as a business. Obviously, we're selling software, but our people that come through and subscribe to our blog or whatever, and they request a demo, they're so much further through the buying process now than the people ever used to be. So, consumers, candidates and clients are the same. They're making a lot more decisions before they choose to engage another human being and actually speak to someone. We're living in an age now where people actually hate speaking to other people. You get on the it's weird. Like you walk through the park in the evening and like everyone's like this on their mobile phones texting each other. Like phone people, like speak to people, but it's not the age we live in. And candidates and clients are the same, like if you can warm them up and keep them coming back to you and your brand time and time again, when they do feel comfortable enough to chat, then hopefully they reach out.
And it's definitely not a generation thing, because I mean, I've got friends quite a chunk older than me who I just call them. They start with this text message wall thing. I'm like, I can't be asked, and I call them, and they just get shocked that I've called. I'm like, it's just easier.
Yeah, I've got friends who'll send me like what would have been in an old phone, like a 7-page text message. I'm like, just phone me.
Yeah, that's
like I don't mind speaking to you. Like I speak to
and
people
how do
for
I
a living. Yeah.
I must admit though, when I do like Snapchat for that, the fact you can just quickly record that video, send it, know it's going to delete. So in that respect, at least it's on though.
Yeah.
Do you use that, Cameron, or what other social media like sites do you like?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, work-wise, it pains me to say it, but LinkedIn, because all the
well, that's where your target audience is.
My market hangs about on LinkedIn, like that's where they are. Twitter's been really, really good for me as well. You know, as much as most people's inboxes now are full with automated DMs, which is such a pain. I've got a great return from sending really, really personalized messages through Twitter. And engaging with people on Twitter, getting involved in chats, taking part in different tweet chats, and getting involved and just being out there. They're the two ones that have been really great for me. Personally, I am on Instagram, absolutely love it. I love Snapchat, it's absolutely fantastic, and I'm on Facebook as well. But work-wise, my target audience hangs about on LinkedIn, so a lot of time there on Twitter as well has been really good.
4 of those with you. I don't think we're Facebook friends.
No, we're not.
And what's your Snapchat name?
I'll show you. I'll just pull it up to the camera.
I've definitely got. Everyone, get ready to take a photo of the camera. Of the camera, not the camera. Oh my god, that's a
Cameron.mcl. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Snap. Take a photo.
Fun.
Yeah,
I definitely got you already. I'm
love
sure
Snapchat. Such good fun.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah. But I love that, actually, the point you were talking about with the personal DMs, that came up on Snapchat last week with us sending personal snaps to people who'd followed, which is, again, another really cool idea.
It's really cool too.
You've all frozen. Gosh.
Oh,
it might be my end, but apparently there's no streaming going on behind me. That's quite worrying.
It seems it's fine here.
Yeah, it's good here.
Okay, that's good. Nobody's complained. It's interesting when you talked about the time factor, because that came up on the side here before. And Jeremy was saying along the lines of they can just tweet while they're out at lunch and all that kind of stuff. Sarah did make a good point, though. Tweeting when walking is dangerous. Walking into landmines is not a good look, which I thought was worth highlighting. But I think you can do Twitter in 10 minutes a day.
You can, yeah. I mean, personally, I have multiple streams set up. I keep an eye on them inside Hootsuite. In the morning, go through my different streams, do my engagement piece, schedule my content as well for the day. We're, as I say, we're kind of built on an inbound marketing model, so we're fortunate enough to use HubSpot as our actual CRM here.
Oh, wow.
So big fan of that. So I'll schedule my content to go out through that. But use Hootsuite for monitoring and social listening as well to get involved in discussions, and then really keep an eye on need to dip in and out of LinkedIn. Their feed has became so frustrating and annoying now to keep an eye on with updates, and I can go in 2 days later and see exactly the same things I saw 2 days before. So
on the desktop?
It's becoming a bit of a headache.
Homepage set to top.
Yeah.
You just got to keep changing it to recent. Would that be your number one thing you'd change about LinkedIn if you could, from a social?
Yeah, and I'd also be able to, it'd be great to be able to set up some sort of listening stream on LinkedIn, to be able to search on, say, for example, discussions involving recruitment or discussions involving like CRM, ATS, that sort of thing, like a social listening stream. So when a discussion happens.
You mean like Signal, LinkedIn Signal, do you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. Yeah, they took it away because they take away everything that's
the great tool that everyone used to like, and then they just keep removing it. And then
anything that's to do with networking, but that's okay because they put it in over on Facebook, so we go use that instead.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I have to write a blog post which is along the lines of everything that I put back in, so I like that one. I'll get credit.
Okay.
Any top tips on what you'd like to put back in? And it's like, I get stuck with some of the ones I have to write as opposed to ones I want to write.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be me being negative again about it again. No. Yeah. What about, do you use Facebook as such? Do you go into the groups and chit chat or?
I haven't been so much, but recently I've noticed that there's a couple of really good groups that get loads of engagement, and I actually think what's happening is the market's taking a bit of a shift because I personally feel that LinkedIn groups don't have anywhere near the value they used to have. So I think a lot of people in our industry are moving into Facebook groups. Because every single time someone comments in it or they take part in it, you get a notification. It's like, cool, I'm going to go and see what's happening in there. Whereas Facebook, LinkedIn groups have just sort of died a death. So it's definitely something I'm going to invest more time in now because I think people in our market are definitely hanging about there.
Definitely, it's huge. And the big problem with LinkedIn groups is that you would get an email every conversation. It was like insane. So I just turned off the notifications, and now I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, and then even if you didn't, and you just had the weekly. My understanding from other group managers is if they sent you out one of the broadcasts, the announcement, and you didn't interact with it, they stopped sending it to you or something weird like that as well.
Yeah.
So, but also, like, I manage the HR UK group, but I really manage it. So I do check absolutely every person that goes in every conversation, and then it's great. It's quite a good group. But I've noticed the big upkick in HR people joining in the last week. No idea why that is, but I promised not to mention it, didn't I? So that was my half of an inference towards mentioning it.
Yeah.
Lots of people moving about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a quick question, Cameron.
Yeah.
So social selling, how is it different when you're talking to people in Australia versus, UK, or do you have to really change how you sell and online? And
I don't really notice too much of a difference in terms of the approach. If I was approaching someone in New Zealand or Australia versus how I'd reach out to them and in the UK, kind of follow the same sort of process where it's gentle touch points, letting them know that you're on their radar, and then slowly starting to get involved in conversations. I have like a 5 touch point kind of matrix thing that'll follow. So I'll identify like key accounts that I want to go after and get involved in conversations with. I'll map out the key decision makers that I want to talk to inside those organizations, and then I'll have a 5 touch point thing that I'll try and do over a fortnightly basis with each. So it'll be, okay, there's touch point number 1 with that person from that organization. That's touch point number 1 with that person. And then I'll work through that over either a week or a 2-week period. And then at the end of that, I'll then have an ask. So, and it doesn't really change if it's New Zealand or Australia or America, like whatever, it's the same sort of approach.
I slightly disagree. You do have to watch what words you use.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because
It's the language.
it's like the reach out and but you just sell mobile. But that's just more cultural. But it's not much. I think it's people are people.
Yeah.
As well, and treating them as that. Do you think there's a bit of resistance to that? So I was at the IBM conference this week, HR in Europe conference, whatever it was called, and they were talking about cognitive and people, but at the same time they were constantly talking about data and analyzing, and there seemed to be all this generalization. Of course, the pesky word millennial came up, which made dip my head in.
Yep.
But you sound like you're taking it back to treat people as people. But do you think it's because you're also not in the high volume?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think if you're selling like a really I suppose it's different. It's a business to business relationship as well. So it's really important to treat people as people in that, because it's not high volume, high turnover, like low value, low margin where you can spray and pray. Like we can't afford to do that. And it's really important for us as well that even if we do speak to someone and they don't have an interest at that moment in time, it's really, really important for us that they remember who we are and they come back to us when the time is right. So we really need to make sure we get that communication spot on for them. We tend to find as well, like agencies, when they implement a new system, the average amount of time that they'll keep that on board is anywhere from 3 to 5 years before they review and change again. So it's really, really important that you don't do any harm to that relationship in that period. If someone wants to be left alone, you leave them alone. You talk to them about your blog, get them subscribed in, they can keep in touch with what you're doing, what you're all about, coming back to the brand, and then when the time is right for them, they then reach out to us and have a chat. So we can't burn any bridges with anybody that in our approach. Such a finite market that we're dealing with.
I'm getting such a ripping down the side here. No, I don't like hay. I don't like it because Crystal Knows, which everybody suddenly became quite dependent on, was going, "Hey, Katrina, no, you really shouldn't hay me." Yeah. Delete. I don't even read past hay. Delete.
No.
Jeez, that's harsh.
All right, I scan it and then I delete it. I missed one the other day that said free meeting room. Believe me, I went back on that one. I was so excited but I missed it. It was like, because it hayed me. And then I went, oh no, hang on, I can get over the hay for that.
What about what about smiley faces in emails? Yes or no?
Say that again?
Smiley faces in emails, yes or no?
I've started using them on my my Inverted Commas weekly blog that comes out of every 4 months. When I do my email for that, I will put smileys in the subject line. Yeah. Or a face of some description, because they do stand out. Yeah. Okay. And I guess I kind of agree with Josh. I think it depends who. If you were sending that to a finance director or somebody who's very logical, they probably wouldn't appreciate it. I guess it depends on what they do. Maybe a marketer or a salesperson might appreciate it more. I don't know. I'm grossly generalizing. The girl that hates gross generalization.
What I tend to do is there's a great way to kind of I found a great way to kind of get around that and figure out if someone's going to be receptive of that sort of thing, and it's to quickly have a check to see if they've written any nice referrals on LinkedIn for anybody, what their tone of voice is, how they communicate on that, and if they're quite informal, they're quite chilled out in that, then they tend to be more responsive to that type of email. And then the flip side of that is if their referrals are really, really formal and very business speak, then try and sort of mirror that when you're reaching out to them.
That's a great idea. Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm attempting to tweet that. Let's see if it does. I don't know if the last 30 seconds is working.
Yeah, it really depends on the day. I tried earlier, but I didn't see if it worked.
Yeah. You're like a little bit of a stalker there with the stuff, the links you'll go to. It's really cool.
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, I mean, suppose you could, I'm glad my job title is predictive recruitment specialist, not online social stalker, put it that way.
I think it should be. Anytime I train a client and they go, I'm going to go and get my stalk on, I get so excited. My job is done. Oh my God, this is so funny going down the side. So from Sarah Gordon, once you have a warm relationship, you will know if they're an emoji person or not. And then Josh, who is so young, going, emoticons just feel so young to me.
I love them.
I love them as well.
Yeah.
I think they're fun and playful.
They're going to start evolving and changing all the time as well, aren't they? They're going to get better and continue to factor in. I think give it 15, 20 years, people won't even be putting words in messages. It'll all just be that.
I think.
Isn't there that thing that was going around on Twitter, how our language has evolved right down into emoticons from beautiful prose that we used to have in the 1700s? Yeah. I loved that when I saw it.
From cursive.
Located again.
I saw some unveil on like the new messaging on iPhone. They were sort of giving like a keynote speech about what that's going to be like, and it's going to start to put in smiley faces and stuff based on what you're typing and the tone, and start to preempt what you're feeling. Drop it straight into the message for you.
I quite like to undo. I accidentally updated to their latest emoticons, and they're awful. I'd like to somehow undo that. So I need to work that out when I'm bored.
Yeah.
So yeah. I just think they're becoming part and parcel of it. I do find it quite interesting, though, that Josh, and if you watched his Snapchat feed after last week, who loves to use all of the, what are they called? Filters and stuff.
Yeah.
Doesn't like emoticons, but likes a good filter on Snapchat.
Rainbow puke.
Are they the same? Isn't it just about being playful? Anyway, good fun.
I think... I've been on a few blabs recently and got involved in some pretty interesting chats about educating like our clients as well.
Yeah.
And the UK market, certainly John's liking that there. He had some questions to do with that recently, and I found it all really, really interesting that the market in the UK certainly is starting to shift towards or some of it is shifting towards like low value contingent, or even some cases like low value fixed fee, because people have been for a number of years now adopting kind of almost like a spray and pray approach. And the social selling stuff that we're trying to implement and do across the company is all about starting to educate the buyer and allow them to make informed choice. And I think this sort of approach can allow you to start to educate your clients more as well, because people, the high level conversations that need to be taking place in recruitment about true cost to the business of getting the wrong people in or making errors and stuff like that is kind of, it's not happening as much as it used to. So there's adding value, getting involved in discussions and the like can give you a chance to start to almost educate your buyer as well, which I think is adding a lot of value into.
Yeah, actually you should talk to the guy I was talking to last week at the UK Recruiter event. I have remembered the name. So, but he was talking about they hire salespeople to do cold calling. They don't do any other kind of selling at all. And he knows that he's got a high attrition rate and doesn't care. And he's going, yeah, no, we lose 50 grand a year in lost recruitment fees. And I'm going, but what about the rest of it? So that you made a point about you'd rather get it right and take the time so that they're not talking about you badly in the marketplace. And I kept saying to him, people are talking about your company and going, don't deal with you because you're just all cold call, hard sell. Yeah. You know, don't care. Or else you're making a bad hire who does a really bad job of it and you're losing potential business just because it was them calling and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
He couldn't see that knock-on effect.
No. So
I can't wait to show him, do some research and show him his reputation in the marketplace.
The opportunity cost and the knock-on impact of that to your business is so far outweighs like just the cost of recruitment. So much damage, you know. It's Yeah, you only get one shot to get things right in business, and your image and your brand. It's out there forever. So if you muck it up once, it's very difficult to recover from that, I think.
Katrina, does he have a Glassdoor page, or is it just?
Didn't get that far. I would put money on it. Actually, I think he would have really bad Indeed reviews.
You check both of those, I bet you.
I will. Yeah, I haven't got that far. It's been a busy week. I don't know where it's gone, but yeah. But yeah, no, I will, because he's got quite an education piece ahead of him. But also, I mean, not only from the people that they're hiring that aren't good because of where his location is, we'll be passing it on and on and on to other people as well. Let alone the lost sales and the lack of product, and on it goes. It's quite shocking in that respect. But yeah, it's funny. Everyone always brings up Glassdoor, Audra, and I'm always going, but what about Facebook reviews?
So that's another one. Facebook reviews are that's going to start to change the game like massively in the UK. I think once that starts to get some momentum, it already is getting momentum.
It's already got it.
Businesses are forgetting that's out there, and that's another thing as well. I mean, like at the UK Recruiter event last week, there was lots of chat about that. In fact, someone presented from Glassdoor, and they were sort of saying, as a recruiter, if you're taking on new clients, check them out on Glassdoor, because that could be one of the biggest stumbling blocks for you actually placing talent into their business.
But I just think it's like online shopping, isn't it? We all want to see in. We all want to know before we buy. Yeah. Check it out. I think it's just logical, isn't it?
Totally. And like the whole social selling thing as well. It's like if I go on to Amazon just now and I look at flat screen TVs and they send me an email tomorrow about wanting a new radio, I'm going to be like, I'm not interested in a new radio. I want a flat screen TV. And I think like social selling approach as well, and like approaching candidates and clients. If you give them something they're not interested in or it's not relevant to them, they're like, this person doesn't understand me. They don't know what I want to be doing. They don't know, they don't know anything about me. As far as I'm concerned, it's spam. So I'm going to rip it up and throw it in the bin. Whereas if you deliver something to someone that's value and they've expressed an interest in that sort of thing because you found that out online, then they're like, this person's taking the time out to learn about me. This is what they're interested in. I'm going to give them some time.
But it's also that thing with, so I went onto made.com looking at a futon, and then they've obviously got pixels on their website. So now every single place I'm turning up at, this same futon keeps appearing in front of me. It's like, there's no reason why we can't. Well, yeah, except I'm not ready to buy it yet. It's kind of freaking me out. But
you're remembering it.
Creep mode. Awesome. It even came up on Instagram. It's come up everywhere. And I'm like, oh, my God, creep mode. But there's no reason why recruiters can't be doing that either. With different services that they offer or different blogs and
definitely not. I mean, we offer, like, we've got a blog subscription. We put out lots of white papers in the market as well, and then we'll have various different nurturing streams off the back of that. So if someone downloads a particular white paper on one subject, we know that subject leads into a discussion on another subject that we've also got a white paper on. So like a week later, we'll send them another email and be like, hey, we noticed you had this white paper, it looks really interesting, but most people that look at this are also interested in this. Like, check it out, and that keeps people coming back to the brand and the blog and stuff time and time again.
So again, when you're talking to recruitment agents, though, do they go, we don't have the time for this marketing? Like, it's really CRM marketing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And again, quite often they don't have the time, but in actual fact, we're noticing a big shift into recruitment agencies now actually hiring digital marketers. Which is great. It's so good to see that they're actually starting to take this stuff seriously and worry about the consequence of not doing it and not getting on board with this. So I'm speaking to more and more agencies now who, once they're up to 5 or 6 people inside the business, they're like, right, my next hire is going to be a digital marketer, which is really, really cool. That's because awesome. Like when I started in here a year ago, it was like, digital who? Like, we're never going to hire them. Like, why would we want that? This person could be making us money. We want people on the phones that are going to bill money for us. But now they're starting to realize that there's actually value in a brand, content, putting stuff out to market that are going to keep people warm and engaged with them as a brand, which is great to see. So it's starting to shift. It's not shifting fast enough, in my opinion. And I think that some people are going to get left behind. But time will tell.
I had that exact conversation last week. I said, you need a marketer and you need an administrator. He just looked at me with such a horrified look on his face. It was brilliant.
What was the administrator for the ATS?
Just because his recruiter's overloaded with the amount of hiring they're doing. And he again couldn't see the knock-on effect, because he was telling me how many roles this guy's working on at any one time. I was like, he needs help just for the scheduling and keeping in touch and the...
Yep.
But yeah, They need a market full stop. It's crazy they haven't got one for what they do.
Sometimes as well, when we have these conversations, we get a little bit of pushback on like, well, content. Like, I don't really know what to write about. Like, what should I be doing? Like, how can I add value to the market? And a lot of recruiters are sitting on a ton of really, really useful data and information. They just need to get it out there and then put it out to market. You know, if you're operating in IT, for example, and you've been operating for 3 or 4 years, you've got information on what's happened inside that market for 3 or 4 years. Like, what value, what salaries have you been placing people into? Is there a move on the permanent side or the contract side? What sort of rates are they going into? People in the IT market find that sort of stuff really, really interesting. So, like, you know, report on that, put out a white paper about what's happened in the market in the past 3 or 4 years, the shift and change. That builds credibility on two sides, because what it does is candidates in the market look at that and they go, well, I took this job 4 years ago. I was on £60,000 a year. This job in the market now is actually worth 68,000 or 70,000 based on this report. And clients look at it and they go, "Oh, these guys really know what they're talking about. Like, they're talking about the shift in the industry." So there's plenty of stuff that they can be writing about and getting out there to sort of add value and build credibility in the market.
I think some recruiters, though, just maybe aren't the best copywriters. I wonder if teams one day will hire their own copywriter.
Yeah, I think there's massive value in that as well. I noticed like one of the comments there from Mark, like if they knew how to write their own job descriptions, like hiring someone who knows how to do copy is absolutely massive. And like we live in a world on a day-to-day basis now when we're online and we're shopping and we're doing stuff and we're on certain sites. We just take good copy for granted. You know, if sites just, professional brands pay people lots of money to get it right. And there's lots of thought that goes into that. But a lot of time the recruitment agency is like, here's a job description, let's copy it, take out the name, paste it out online and hope to get something from that. That doesn't work anymore.
Oh, I do like Mark's comment though. Yeah. I think the problem is the actual writing. Get more recruiters and hiring managers to talk on video. I agree. That's probably easier in-house than agency side though.
Yeah, maybe. I think so. But I also think as well, like people get into recruitment because they're great talkers as well. So getting yourself in front of someone's a good idea.
Absolutely, more video.
And I also, Matt could be onto something there. He could do the first ever job description in emojis. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Oh, that would be funny.
For the right position.
Because whenever I've seen agencies do job descriptions, they've been really dry. Which is quite worrying. They're going to be fun and light.
They do, and I think what do you think about this as well? But sometimes it can slightly, they find it challenging to sell the opportunity because they're not going into as much detail as possibly they should about the client as well. Yeah, because there's all that stuff, but I think that needs to change as well.
If I tell Cameron who my client is, they're going to get nicked, and someone's going to go around me, or you're going to go direct. So it's ridiculous.
Yep.
You have a relationship with your client.
And again, that's what I'm loving in markets like New Zealand just now. It's really, really cool because they're just like, yeah, let's just go with it. It was cool. Who cares?
Do you think job descriptions will have? Oh, sorry. Do you think job descriptions will have more video going forward?
Yeah, I think so. Video content is just going through the roof. Vlogging, blabbing, all this sort of stuff. Anything on video is just going. Facebook Live, all that sort of stuff, just continuing to grow. Snapchat, video, everything's just like we're making a shift towards video. I think rather than tech. Another thing as well, I think we're making a big shift on is long form content as well. Actual longer blogs. Rather than your short, sharp couple of paragraphs, 400 or 500 words. There you go. I think there's a lot of value in longer stuff as well now. Keep people more engaged.
Yeah, really factual. I would think the opposite because people's attention span is so short.
I agree. I see how far it is down the screen. The scrolly thing, and if when I'm at about a third, that's it. You've lost me. I can't read them. I've listened to it. I just can't read them.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Do you guys ever look at like the Buffers blog or anything like that? They put massive blogs out, and they always keep me going to the end. I don't know. I'm a fan.
Yeah, well, that's just obviously really valuable content.
Yeah, the Buffer just awesome. That's why. But I still struggle. Mind you, they do spread it out, and there's lots of headings and points and things like that. I suppose that helps for sure. But there's John has a point. Majority of agents copy and paste the job description provided by the company. Boring cookie cutter, People choose,
Definitely.
this remark, people choose the people that they want to work with. Getting the manager team on video will get people to apply who would not have from a poorly written job descriptions. That's true, but again, the in-house have the advantage over the agency side.
Yeah.
But does the video have to be in the job description, or could it be like right in the career site? I guess it depends, because a lot of times they'll go right to the job and they'll miss the video if it's not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're seeing a bit of a shift in like. Sorry, on you go.
Oh no, I was sorry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, you can do 30-second job descriptions and load them onto Twitter. Sorry, go, Cameron. I can't see you at all. You're just a black square to me. Sorry.
I can.
Sorry.
Well,
I can.
I can't
weird.
see his mouth going.
I think there's going to be a change possibly as well in the whole like video interview stuff as well. It's starting to gather a bit more momentum, whereby you can see and hear people. It's a good value add as well, and I think there's a bit of a change in that as well. So.
Yeah, actually, that's a very interesting point here. Elset's down in South Africa. So you should speak the candidate's language, make them read it, do research on the type of person before you start writing. So speak to that one person you're trying to find. That's quite clever. Actually, she also had a really good point for me on Snapchat that it's not going to take off in South Africa at the moment because it uses too much data. That was quite interesting as well. Thought of that. It was interesting. We're snapping. So what's Matt written here? Oh, it's moving too fast, Audra. We're going to have to do it.
Yeah, he's saying in the US we have a lot of like compliance issues. So I think he's saying they'll probably always have to be text because of all this compliance issues. Is that an issue in England too?
Yeah.
This, there's certain, it's more sort of, I think it's more like, you can't be seen to be advertising for a particular age group or a particular like male or female, that sort of stuff. You need to be quite careful with that. But there's no real checks that happen off of the back of that. The stuff's just written and then it goes out, and you should need to be careful that you comply, because if someone calls it up, then there could be
Well, it's going too fast.
And Josh is giving a shout out to somebody at Insperity called John Feldman, who writes great content. Good person to follow for ideas on how to do it well. I like Mark's comment.
Yep.
Mark, remind me what country you're in at the moment. Yeah, I know that, but I just thought you could write it. So I'm currently here in the former part of the EU known as the UK. We have similar rules. No one gives a shit. But not necessarily. If an agency has a solid relationship with the hiring manager, not just HR, then they can use video. It only needs to be 60 seconds long. Very true, John. But of course, it comes back to the fear that if you do have that good relationship.
Yeah, it comes back to educating you. Comes back to.
Sorry, we promised not to talk about the EU, and it's just come up.
It started.
Yeah, no, back to you, Cameron. Back to you.
No, I'm just saying it comes back to educating your clients, doesn't it? The whole thing, building that whole trust thing, and them seeing value in what you do to allow you to do video interviews, and even like short video CVs and things like that. They've got to see value in what you're doing and be bought into you as a recruiter and know that it's going to add value to their process.
But I imagine if you've won that client through social selling as well, so building that lovely relationship and becoming known, liked, and trusted online, then it probably is easier to have that close relationship. I mean, that's one thing I've always loved about social media is it's cut out, in my case, procurement, because it used to be, it had to be your PricewaterhouseCoopers delivering to your corporate company, whereas now it's okay, it's one-man company, Katrina, that's no problem. But it's because I could become known as somebody who knew my stuff through social media and social selling, which I think is so important.
And I think when you look at that from a recruitment point of view as well, I think it probably makes it easier to have chats about retainers when you've been building credibility over a period of time. And then you can have that conversation. Well, that I'm an expert in the industry. I'm credible. This is what we do. This is what we're about. We're here to add value at every step of the way. If you want my services, then you're going to need to pay me a retainer for me to work for you, rather than a high street agency that's just, an agency just going to spray and pray and hope for the best. You start to build that relationship over time, nurture the relationship. And then when it comes to the conversation of retainers, it's far easier to ask. Recruitment's the only industry where everyone does, or a lot of people do so much work at the front end for no return. It's madness. I mean, you wouldn't go out and work for someone for 3 months for zero money against 10 other people for the chance of still getting zero money. It's bonkers. No one else does that in this world. Like, you know, we charge for our services, so you need to be, you know,
that's
don't be afraid to ask for those retainers. You know, it's mental.
And one of the things you said that also stood out to me is you're showing your expertise. So, you know, when you cold call in, you're going, hello, I'm an expert. I can give you that IT person. You don't have to do that rubbish because you're showing your expertise. You're just, by what you're sharing and the conversations you're having, you're showing it. So you naturally will attract the right clients anyway. So it sort of cuts out all that effort. You're absolutely right. But God, imagine if we stirred up the entire agency recruitment and went, it's all retainer led. Oh my God.
What it also does as well is it actually lets you choose the people that you want to work with as well, which a lot of people don't think about, because quite often recruiters will be given a job and they'll just take the job on. They'll just agree to work in the job. Now you might know there's not a chance in hell finding the right person for this job, but you've got a job on. Yes, it's fantastic. I'm going to get money for this, and then you invest 5 months of your time, 4 months of your time looking for someone. When in actual fact, if you had that relationship, you could say, do you know what? We can't actually get you this person, so I'm going to say no. They don't exist in the market. But what we can do is, perhaps rather than taking that senior developer that doesn't really exist, you could perhaps take 2 juniors and look to train them up. And if you've got that credible relationship with them, then you can have that sort of chat. Whereas if you're just spraying and praying, then you can't have that conversation with your client.
We're running down to only 2 minutes left, but I want to make sure everyone knows how they can get in touch with you, Cameron.
Cool, yeah. So look me up on LinkedIn, Cameron McLennan. My Twitter handle's @CameronFirefish, and you can also jump over to firefishsoftware.com, click on the blog, subscribe, and sort of keep in touch that way.
Otherwise known as Cameron Firefish. I don't know what you said.
Yeah. And also starting to do blabs as well. So follow me on Blab. And
what do you have, a weekly one? Like, what time is it, or is it not set yet?
We have a fortnightly one at Tuesday. It's either on Tuesday or Wednesday at the moment.
Hang on, I am on one soon, aren't I?
You are on one. Don't forget. Yeah.
Can you remind me?
I'll send you an email later.
Professional Katrina strikes again.
So how do they find the Blab? Would we just be in your Twitter handle?
Yeah, so if they go into my Twitter handle, it'll be on there. They can follow me on Blab just now, and then each time I create a show, they'll be able to see when that's going live. And my Snapchat as well is Cameron.mcl.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's right. We got that before. Yeah, share some good stuff there as well. The most important thing to know about Firefish software is their suites, though. They have these amazing.
Ooh.
Oh, you know suites, don't you? I can't think what the interpret is to the US. They're the best.
We have great,
you can get your hands on those. Candy.
Yeah.
Candy, yeah.
Every time I see them, I go straight to their stand. Shocking. So we are out of time. We're not on next week. I don't know why. Audra's not available on 1st of July, but she's not.
We're taking 1 week off, and then who's next? I'm not even sure.
Bradley Richardson, and we're doing rather than doing all this employee engagement, we're just going to talk about recruitment voice, and employer voice, which should be quite an interesting conversation.
Yeah, he's got, awesome,
and he's quite chit chatty on the voice. He's quite chit chatty on Snapchat as well. So it'll be a good fun show, I'm sure. Yeah, so that's in a fortnight. Oh my goodness, how will we cope next week? That'll be weird. Cameron, who I cannot see, he's still invisible. I've just got black blob. It's very odd. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cameron. That was awesome.
Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thanks very much for having me.
No problem. Bye.
Cheers.